Gear goose. I thought disconnected.
Yeah, 1 second.
Gear goose. You know what I'm about to do?
I heard you, and I heard you loud and clear. We're gonna build. We ain't talking about no crap. We're just building today. Trey, how you doing, man?
What's up? How you doing, brother?
Pretty good, pretty good. Actually got a lot of sleep last night. I mean, dog, I didn't wake up until like 4, 5, maybe.
Yeah, the
Oh, good.
fucking the clock went back last night or some shit too.
That means I got an extra hour of sleep.
And it's crazy because I woke up and shit, and then I was just fucking around. I had to go pick my daughter up from work, and I was like, "Oh shit!" I told my wife I'm late. I gotta go pick up Kiana. She's like, "She don't get off till 5." I'm like, I looked at my watch. My shit, my shit was like 5:05. She's like, "It's you gotta set your watch back." I was like, "Oh shit, that's right. I ain't even know."
Luckily, luckily, Sprint and all of them, they like to do it for us. So until you just said something right now, I was not even thinking that it even happened.
Yeah, I mean, all your devices do that shit automatically, but your wristwatch or whatever, that shit don't do it. That's why I
Yeah.
was like, damn, I forgot all about it. See, that's what happens when you don't watch TV, though. You don't be knowing that shit.
Oh, it's funny right there. So I know you don't like it, or I know you like talking about it, but I know you don't like me going in on it. But we're gonna talk about a little bit of that silica stuff.
hmm
I'm trying to get I'm trying to get legendary in the building because he is our leading advisor of rock porn.
Legendary, where you at? Get up in this get up in this talk. Come get your rocks off.
All right, hang on 1 second.
Peace to everybody in the chat too.
Yes, yeah. Um, all right.
I don't mean to be chewing in your ear,
All right.
man. My bad.
Hey, I am so used to you doing it. If you weren't eating while you were while we were live, it wouldn't even make sense. We're good. Okay, we're good to go now. I think what we're gonna do. I was gonna try to wait for Legendary, but I didn't even talk to him today, so I don't know if he's what he's doing for the moment. But so what is going on is I wanted to talk about the silica thing because the idea of it being, as far as I'm concerned, um, I can't imagine it on this regular Earth. It just doesn't seem possible. But I think I've said it to you a few times. I think a few people in the chat have heard me say it. There's a possibility because we do know there's a bottom of the Earth. We know this, right?
hmm
Uh, what if our atmosphere, if there's a second atmosphere to the bottom, that could actually be what all this, giant trees, giants, and all that other talk was talking about. Because we don't know what's down there, but we know it's something's down there.
Now, now, when you say the bottom, do you mean like all right, let's see. So right now I'm eating an Oreo cookie. I got, I got. Well, I'm just saying because it's kind of, it's kind of like shaped like our map or whatever. So I'm eating the Oreo cookie. Now I got the top. Boom. Now, when you say bottom, are you referring to the bottom side, like as the bottom of that cookie, or are you talking about like the bottom, like the interior,
I'm talking the
like
bottom.
like the bottom of the cookie?
Yeah,
All right. Well,
because if you're talking interior, I don't think it could be interior. It would make more sense interior
see,
because
I'm more apt if to look at it the way you're saying. I'm more apt to believe, I'm more inclined to think that it would be on the interior somehow. Like, because I do believe. People feel about it, but I do believe that there's some validity to the hollow Earth theory or whatever you want to call it. Um, so in my mind, I kind of, on some level, believe that the ultimate truth is probably some kind of combination of what we call the flat Earth slash hollow Earth, something like that, if that makes sense. So,
okay, so
so what I'm getting at is whatever you're saying might have been at the bottom. To me, it would be more on the interior as opposed on the bottom exterior of whatever this Earth plane is. You know what I'm saying?
okay, yeah, yeah. Before I say my opinion on it, legendary, welcome, my friend. You are our leading
Hey,
expert.
what's going on?
Not much, just chilling. Figured we go in on this little
What's up,
crypto
brother?
thing, especially
What's going on, Big Dre?
since it added up to everything.
Chilling.
Uh, so as to what you're saying, Dre, about the interior, which is actually a good point because when I tried to figure out everything when I first became a flat earther, I actually like a hollow earth was almost like more possible than anything. Um, it to me personally, it would explain, how we have the seed bank. Um,
How you
it
had
would
the what?
seed bank. Every
Uh, the,
seed
the
of every
the
plant is in a
the
vault.
Doomsday Vault. They call it the
Yes.
Doomsday Vault. Okay.
Um, we know for a fact that there are patents for an artificial sun.
Hmm.
Um, that and just a whole bunch of things. As from reasons for fracking and all this, I've heard 1,001 things. Um, but as far as I'm concerned, I like I said, I can't see that being a possibility. It would make sense to me because the elites, we know there's there's livable bunkers for many years under Denver Airport. Um, we know that a lot of the elites went down to Antarctica recently, but they're not willing to say why. I mean, there's 1,000 different versions that do actually justify it. You know what I mean?
I don't. Yeah, my bad. I don't think that as far as like the elites or the government or whatever, I don't think that the facilities that they have underground are connected to the inner Earth theory. I think that those underground bases or whatever, the shit that they got underground, and even the Doomsday Vault for that matter, and possibly even the artificial sun. I think all of these things are to be because of whatever kind of cataclysms they may be trying to create to basically exterminate the population, if you will, and they got somewhere to go to be safe. I think that that shit is more in line with that than the Hollow Earth theory. The Hollow Earth theory actually is more in line with what you would call extraterrestrials or aliens. Besides the fact that I think a true alien or extraterrestrial is a being or a person that comes either from beyond the rings or beyond the ring that we live within, or somebody that comes from inner Earth. To me, these are the two possibilities of aliens or extraterrestrials. But I don't think that the military bases are a result of the inner Earth theory or the possibility that you can live down there. I think that they just take advantage of the safety of being within the Earth's interior because they understand, that it's feasible. Just wanted to make that point real quick. My bad.
Yeah, I
Uh,
Dre.
go ahead. Go ahead.
What what up?
No, I said I agree with that. I've been saying that for a long time. And just look at the word itself, extraterrestrial. Does it come from that extra
Hmm.
terra firma that we don't know about? That we haven't explored
Hmm.
it.
And that could either be within the Earth or beyond the ring.
Yeah,
So
on the ring. Yeah.
no doubt, no doubt.
Um, I see exactly what you guys are saying about the elite, though. Who's to say they didn't find it? So when I was talking about the bunkers and the artificial sun, and
That
you alluded to
they
the fact,
they
go ahead,
didn't find what?
that interior that you're talking about.
Oh, I think they're well aware of it.
Okay, okay.
To be honest
I
with
think
you.
I don't think I heard that part. I was
Yeah,
sidetracked
yeah.
by
I
something else.
mean, I think they're aware of whatever beings or possible, whatever realms or whatever you want to call it might be within the Earth's interior. I'm pretty sure that they're well aware of it. I just don't think that the fact that they have underground military bases or whatever you want to call it, that doesn't have nothing to do with the so-called, like natural existence or possibility of the existence of inner Earth.
I see what you're saying. Um, do you think it's possible? But see, the only thing with with going on the inner is how would these giants and plants how would these grow without sunlight? We know there are nutrients in the ground, so there has to be nutrients down
Well,
there.
according to like the ancient the ancients, whether it's like Vedic or Hindu, which probably might fall under the same lines. Man, there's probably a bunch of cultures that actually believe in what they call Midgard or Shambhala, uh, the land of perpetual twilight. These places are all these names refer to the same place, which is said to be within the center or the vortex, which is at the North Pole. Um, Now, within this vortex, there's called the Black Sun. Now, you've probably seen references to the Black Sun. A lot of people mistake it for like some sort of a Nazi symbol, which is possible that the Nazis have used it because they've used the swastika as well. But there's supposed to be an inner sun. It glows like a greenish color, kind of similar to the aurora borealis, but this is what they call the land of perpetual twilight. So there is said to be a light source or inner sun that all of these things would, gain sustenance from. Matter of fact, if you even take it to a deeper level, excuse me, like when you link the religions and stuff to it, it's said that the reason that you bow your head is because you're praying to the black sun. The black sun, if I got this correct, the black sun is what manifests your prayers, if you will. That's why they bow their heads, in religious prayer.
Subconscious, right, Dre?
Yeah, it gets deep, but there's a lot of there's a lot of information out there as far as this place called Shambhala or Gartha, Midgard,
Mhm.
the land of perpetual twilight. This is also where they say that when you start listening to, like I said, quasi luminous, like the dude has some good information, but he's crazy as hell. Uh, but you just got to kind of know where to draw the line. But at the same time, he presents some really solid information. So whether it's quasi luminous, Devin Maggi, like these types of people, they got some good information pertaining to the land of perpetual twilight, the inner sun, the black sun.
Yeah,
So
man. Hey, man, I don't know if you know, but I know Devin. He just they started their little expedition to the North Pole, man.
to the
So they
North Pole, yeah, yeah,
What happened?
they all traveled, met up in like Wales,
yeah, yeah.
and they trying to get their funding street. So hopefully,
Who
everybody
who
can
is?
have some information, man.
I hope that turns out well. You know what I
Who's doing
mean?
that?
Right, me too.
Who's doing that?
Devin Maggi.
Devin, it's called the SEAL team. SEAL.
Yeah, they
Okay.
changed that name. It used to be called. He used to just go by Devin Maggi or something, but like he changed his name to his page or whatever. It's like a new name now, and
Yeah, it's Flat Earth Paradise.
yeah, they do it a little
Oh,
different.
okay.
But it's
Okay.
but it's good information, like I said. But they get into that blood over intent type shit, and I don't get
Yeah.
down with that. You know what I mean? But at the same time, though, I mean, the way that it's explained, yeah, it seems like it could be something that, as far as this blood magic and this type stuff or whatever. But I don't get into all that. And not only that, but if my blood is magic, I want to keep it in my body. I'm not trying to put it on no paper and use it for some shit that, mess around and the boogeyman be like, you gave me your blood, motherfucker, I got you. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's a fuck all that.
Yeah, and I don't want to be involved in anything that does that. I like my
Yeah,
blood. I like it doing its own
right.
thing inside me.
That's a little too much. But like I
Yeah.
said, it's like any other truth, where the truth is always layered with some bullshit. You just gotta be discerning enough to be able to pull the truth out, and correspond it with everything else. So truth can be found everywhere. Just because you don't, get down with a person or their style or whatever the case may be, doesn't mean you can't, take away some truth from what they bring to the table. Everybody brings, a fragment of the ultimate truth in most cases.
Yeah, I'm more to the under the impression that it's not. I remember when that guy got on Bro Sanchez channel, Lotus Ocean.
Otis
Mm.
Lotion.
Otis
Yeah,
Lotion,
Otis Lotion.
Lotus Lotion.
Yeah, not his.
But he was like that. It's not an actual physical. It's not an actual physical place. It's that there's a race of giants from the underground. Got into that.
Well, see, that's
Right.
how. That was why I was thinking. Uh, Now we're talking under, like the bottom of Earth. Um, if there was a different type of atmosphere, that could be the silica atmosphere that I believe has to happen to do these titans and giants, or same thing, giants and giant trees.
From underground.
Yeah.
So is that what some of that is underground? Like all the silica and stuff that you're speaking of?
No,
No,
see, I don't see,
the,
I can't rock with that because it's like 10% of the Earth's surface is covered in silica. So the bulk, if not every bit of the silica that exists, is pretty much on the surface. You know what I mean? So it's like,
no, you can't say it's all on the surface because we haven't been able to go down far enough to know what everything is compiled of
well,
down there.
this figure comes from like mainstream science. They say that pretty much in a nutshell that 10% of the Earth's surface is silica. That's not all of it, but
Oh no,
it's
but yeah, because there of natural silica there's small pockets, and
yeah,
then
yeah. I
you
know,
got what's found in spread and
no,
dirt. And
I
go
get
ahead.
that, but I'm just saying on the surface though, there 10% of the surface alone is silica. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Mhm.
like you're gonna
Well,
find it. You're gonna find it underground there. I'm just saying that 10% of the surface, like when they do a composition of just the general surface area of the Earth, 10% of it is silica, basically
And,
sand,
and if you're
more or
saying that
less.
though, but remember that means there is a shit ton of silica.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very common. It's common throughout life. It's common in uh, probably virtually every life form, including plants. It's in everything. That's what I'm saying. This is why I can't get over the fact that you believe that it had to be a silica-based atmosphere or whatever, as opposed to carbon. I don't agree with that, because we can already see that silica is, an element that functions quite well
It,
within a carbon system.
yeah, but that's the thing. It functions quite well in a carbon system, but it doesn't. But it's just like when I say that, I don't think that silica is not real. But that'd be like saying what would be a small molecule or that is in our bodies that isn't a base. It'd be hmm,
Small molecule in our body that doesn't what?
like so everything that comprises of our body. I don't have anything in front of me, so I don't want to say something that sounds stupid. Hang on, because you know me, I got these notes. Um,
That's what I need to do. Start writing some damn notes.
well, because the things that like I know that the body's made up of, I don't want to say, well, this is this, and it not make sense. So the way I'm saying, because we have actually, I don't think we contain silica in us. So we have
Shit.
calcium, right? We have calcium in our
Mm-hmm.
bodies.
Set
Mm-hmm.
some
It's like
booty.
saying, "How you doing, Jamaica?"
Hello, I got my camera on so y'all can see it's me. I'm finna cut it off though.
Tight. What's up?
Gonna cut out. Okay, so to say the human has calcium in our bodies. Then that'd be like saying, well, we are a calcium based. It's like doesn't work that way. So silica doesn't work that way. I guess I could say. So to be as big as we say, or people say Devil's Tower is, we know it would have to be because there wasn't that much oxygen and that much carbon in our atmosphere at any time that we can find, basically.
How did you find
But
this
if
out though? Carbon dating or
what do you mean that the stuff that back from that far back?
well that it wasn't that much atmosphere in the I mean there wasn't that much oxygen in the atmosphere or
Well,
whatever.
he's gonna say probably from like fucking rock samples or some shit. I would
No,
imagine.
fossil samples that we have. We know that. So say you say, let's just go off. Not even saying this is exactly what they found. You go
Well,
off like a.
there are ice core samples that prove that the oxygen levels were higher, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah. That's how I mean, we know the oxygen levels are high. That's why we know. That's almost the basis behind. We know plants, how big plants used to be because of that situation. Like so, if you look at a palm tree from, we'll say 400,000 years ago, a half a
Mm-hmm.
million years ago, we know they may have been 3 times the size because of the oxygen levels.
Look at today though, man. When you look at sunflowers, when sunflowers are unbothered, they grow as tall as a baby tree.
Yeah,
My
definitely.
yeah, my
But
grandma used to have a neighbor when we lived in the projects and every year her sunflower would grow and it would grow up. It would grow like up under the roof since it was so planted so close to the house it couldn't grow past the roof, so it would always grow and then curl up under the roof. And I didn't even know that a regular garden flower could grow that damn high.
Yeah, see, there's like different forms of silica. I just don't see how you can eliminate the possibility of a tree growing and be predominantly made of silica as opposed to like, you know, wood pulp like trees nowadays. Like you have what I think it's silicon carbide or something. And It's a
What about the
natural. It's a natural
my
element.
bad? Yeah.
And they use it for all kind of shit. Matter of fact, I think it's what do you call that shit? It's one of these a moissanite or something. It's one of these it's like some shit they use in jewelry or something like that, I guess. But they use it in like brake pads. They use it for LEDs.
Yeah.
They use it for all kind of stuff. So it's got electrical transmitting probability. I mean properties or whatever. So it makes sense. I don't know, man. I just kind of believe that these trees, being silica in nature, they just very possible.
Okay, so
What
the thing with what you're saying is, so where Jamaican was talking about the sunflowers being so big, and we talk about plants being so much bigger because of the oxygen content.
Mm-hmm.
Those are even different compared in size compared to what is being talked about when we talk about these Devil's Tower trees, and you talk about anything else. Great. The issue with the silica is there's only one type. There's only one type of natural silica. There's no other type. Anything besides that natural silica we're talking it has to be it's man-made basically. It has to be mixed. It has to be made. So when you're talking, even when you're talking the silica in a plant, it's not the same natural silica you find.
Saying like if it's 100% silica?
Yeah. So what happens is silica in plants. It's part of a
Well,
plant structure.
it's just a different form. It's still silica.
No,
It's
no,
just a
but
different
it's not.
form. It's got.
But there's a difference between natural and not natural, and you have to clarify that because we have there's silica seed. We'll say right, silica seed. It's not natural. You can't find silica seed in the ground.
I
It's
never heard of
man-made.
it. Yeah.
Well, that's because I was about to say it's probably a byproduct or something.
It's a by yeah, it is. No, it is. Silica seed's a byproduct of something. It's the stuff they use in the in that
Abrasives.
no the hydro seeding. It's one of the minerals they put
Oh,
into it.
I have a
So
question though. If there is a such thing as 100% silica or
no,
whatever,
there is. I'm not saying
but
it doesn't exist. It is real. We know that for a fact. There's a lot of it actually.
hmm
I'm sorry, Ty. I
no,
didn't mean
I
to
was
cut you
just
off.
no, you good. I'm just gonna say like, why don't it produce like seeds like pure flowers like or normal flowers?
Because silica is not a plant. Silica is like a mineral.
Or it's a base.
Yeah.
It's like sand,
Well,
basically. Silica is
I got you.
it's
Yeah.
yeah,
It's not. It's not.
a plant.
Yeah. It's not the type of anything. It's like an oxygen molecule or a you know what I mean. It's a molecule. And when they say there's pockets of it, it'd be when you find it, it'd be in the dirt that you'd find in the rock material you find. From what I've heard, there are pockets like actual of it, but you'd only find like it looked like rock if you found it.
Mm-hmm.
What about that whole them tree stumps that they found like scattered out in the desert? They were made of silica.
I don't know what tree stumps you're talking about, but where was it?
What
It's
desert, Duke?
what's the name of it?
What's the name of it, man?
Um,
Petrified.
Oh, like petrified
yeah,
forest?
Nah,
Nah.
it's not a. I can't remember the name offhand, but Duke was onto it when he said petrified. It's called something petrified desert
can't remember,
trees
yeah.
or something like that. But
Yeah, but it's like somebody chopped a bunch of silica trees and made, log pieces out of them, and it's scattered all over the desert. I mean, a whole bunch of them.
basically, what it looks like is just imagine you went and did some clearing and you cut down all the trees, and then you had the main trunk laying down, and then you sectioned it off into like 4-foot sections so you could haul it away. That's basically what it looks like.
Okay.
Hey, Sean,
how is this?
real quick, Sean. Uber wanted to get in on this.
Okay, I was trying to figure out who wanted to come in, and that's kind of why I had to have you guys say it again. Um,
But
Uber Flat
let
Earth.
me.
He's one that I
Yeah,
see.
yeah, okay.
but
Yeah, he's
Go
cool.
ahead,
I got him.
Jake. Go ahead. What you were saying?
Um,
but
do you remember where this is at?
it's in the desert. I can't think of it. Like I can't think of the proper name or whatever. But basic.
Right.
But basically, that's what it is. Like it's like just like he said in the desert. It's a bunch of trees, a bunch of fell
Just
trees. But
just laying around in the middle of the desert.
keep in mind though, like if you were to walk up to one of these trees that's laying on the ground, it's basically it looks like you found a piece of jewelry.
Okay, so you're talking. Are you? Wait, let me let me find. I have to find it, man, because
Hold
all I'm
on, let
hearing,
me.
what I'm thinking you're saying is like the glass desert.
Nah, that's the
Nah.
Libyan desert glass is something different.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, under the ether saying it's at the petrified national park. Is that the one you're talking about?
I believe
Think
so.
so.
Okay, because I've seen a couple of the petrified forests, but I've never seen what you're talking about. So I want to see it before I kind of just
What Burdette said. Silica bond isn't strong compared to carbons.
it's it's
So
brittle.
are we talking about physical bond or chemical bond or what?
Chemical bond. So that's well, it's both. So to have the chemical bond, it it can't be. The problem with that is if it's a chemical bond, it wouldn't. Every tree would look weird. It wouldn't grow straight. It may grow sideways. It may grow down. This that was
Mm-hmm.
one of the issues that was a red flag to me when I started looking into it. Silica does not bond with other molecules like carbon does. That's why we know everything is carbon based because everything can it can make a or make it a little easier to understand. Our bodies are made of are carbon based, and from that carbon base, which is the starting point. As our body's molecules accumulate and become something, the chain gets longer. Now, with silica being the starting base, that chain, it's a coin flip to how big that chain can get. So a human may be a human one time, but the next time it could be something else, or it may look completely different. It doesn't have the same chaining effects as carbon does.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best way I can explain it, really.
Yeah, it just came to mind. I think last year when I was helping my son on his homework about chemical bond and physical bond, and show how all the atoms or the molecules or whatever, that just came to mind for me to ask that.
Yeah, it's not so much like. First of all, okay, I can't comprehend how a tree could be that big, 2 miles, 3 miles tall. Does it that in a carbon situation it doesn't work? If we were able to find something with a silica based structure, then maybe you can go, okay, well then it did. But we don't have anything that's a silica based structure.
Yeah, we don't have anything that grows that big as well, you know. Right
Well,
now, it's medium.
that's what I mean. But then
And
why
we have
would
the
how could it have all
technology
this?
to make trees that strong. Shoot, we have a pretty durable kitchen table. Just saying, you know what I mean? We'll
Well,
be
no,
able to use that
see,
technology to build to engineer stuff for
here's
human
the problem
use.
with that. Here's the problem. If something is silica based, what happens is silica and water, hydrogen, don't mix. They're not friends. They don't work well with each other. What happens is that the silica becomes crystallized and brittle. So if something was silica based and it used water, it would be a rock basically. It'd be like rock, but it wouldn't be able to
Hmm.
grow.
So you can't say that. I
Why?
keep because just because something once it comes in contact with water, it becomes something different. doesn't mean that it couldn't exist in a form of something that grows.
Okay, I need an example because we could say like you. I think you used a crab as an example once. The problem with that is is that the whole thing would be silica. Not the whole thing would be silica, but it would the
No,
outside and the inside
it
would be the same.
depends. It depends on the genetic code. The genetic code, for instance, with the crab, the genetic code of the crab tells the crab's shell, you know, to collect however it collects the calcium or whatever builds the crab shell, and then that mineral goes to form the crab shell. So that's like saying, how come the inside of the crab isn't as hard as the outside of the shell?
Because uh,
I,
well,
you
the
know what
thing
I'm
is
saying?
that so if you look at the anatomy of a crab, it's not the shell that's only carbon based, and it's not the inside that's only carbon. I mean, it's all throughout. So everything it all still reacts the same way to itself. It's just that that's part of it that knows that once it can't fit itself, it has to come off and then rejuvenate.
Yeah, it shoulds.
So to so to say the so I wish I well it's way too late for me to become a chemist, but but you know what I
It's
mean. All
never
right,
too
it's like
late.
it's
It's
almost
never
like
too late.
oh it's way too late. I no, it ain't gonna happen. I can tell you it's not gonna happen. So I'm sharing on my screen right now the the petrified forest. So I'm want to make sure this is kind of the idea of what you were saying. Um, I know there was one in here like this. I think this is the one maybe you're talking about, something like this.
Yeah, I believe that is it. Petrified
Okay.
forest, you got it.
So we know at some point in time that there was a forest here. We know a lot of places that there were forests.
Hmm.
Now I'm happy we're here because when you look at so so this is a petrified tree, obviously. Now you see the color, the structure of the color in it.
Hmm. Yeah.
That is that's petrified. Now that's just how it is. Everything that becomes petrified, that is the process of as it becomes petrified. Um, in the organic part of the tree uh, becomes petrified. It fills itself in as the rock minerals. The reason that's why it becomes different colors because it all happens at different times. Now,
Yeah.
when you look into a rock, we can pull up another one. So when we look inside rocks, specifically granite is what I want. So I got to put inside a granite rock.
Those are geodes, I think.
I figured realized I got to put a actually put granite. So we looked inside of granite. We know that granite has this structure.
Hmm.
Why should it pop up? There it goes. So it has this structure, right? Now this doesn't match out with the same as how a petrified something petrified is, where it's just random, no patterns, you know. But where granite it does, it has these. We know why it's this way. It's patterns, the pressure, the everything about it, right?
Right
So there's
now,
a difference. Yeah, go ahead.
the difference, just off the top of my head, the difference between the the sample of the sample of granite and what you're showing as the petrified tree is one was alive and one wasn't. You can see the granules in the piece of granite, how under compression they formed that piece of rock, whereas the petrified tree was alive at one point in time.
Hmm.
Turn turned into, and if I'm not mistaken, that tree that you're seeing right there is not granite. It's actually like a quartz.
Yeah, because that's what happens. Crystallize.
Right. Not only that, but what you're looking at there is not the tree. It's actually like maybe a branch. In that instance, that wouldn't be the actual tree. That would be a branch.
But okay, so when we look at something like this, because this is part of it, when this is the same place, to say that's a branch, now where is the stump?
The stump would be, if I'm not mistaken, is this located anywhere near Devil's Tower?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, it is. It's
so
not
this,
super far. It's kind of far, but it's not like super far.
Yeah, but with the height that these trees were supposedly, it could be 100 miles away, and that would still probably
Uh-huh.
be pretty close
Exactly.
to the main trunk. You know,
uh, that's like saying any tree you find is that way, but there'd have to be some evidence that it was from the same tree. So, for instance, see these sections right here, each one a little cut. If you looked on each side and matched it to the next piece, they would have a match. The cell patterns, or you know what I mean, would match.
right? Like you can tell that that was all
Now,
one piece.
exactly, you'd be able to tell that each piece, what these two pieces actually went to each other.
Right.
You would have to do that to prove that that happened the same way. Now, the same cellular pattern that's in this piece is the same. It would have a same cellular pattern as in back in here where it's down in the dirt. So to say it wouldn't have to be the next piece off the tree, but just this branch would be able to tell that off right off the bat.
I'm starting to look at that these trees were made whatever the earth is made of because to I mean in my opinion the earth can be destroyed. You know I mean not saying that it won't, but I'm just saying like by it being a stationary foundation, what can actually come through and destroy it. So that's what I'm thinking like
Well,
these
anything
trees
could,
grew right from the earth's crust per se.
but
And the reason why,
well, the thing
it's just a
is
theory. I
that
can't prove any of it. It's just a theory that I'm just brainstorming.
well, the petrified forest. This petrified forest was not where it's so. You see where all the dirt is, the level of elevation is, and everything.
You know,
That was not that way. Let's say a million years ago, it was all covered up. That's the only way this has happened. That's the same reason you see everything is laying down or everything's in a valley. It's like,
it looked like everything was organized, kind of right. That's what you're saying.
it looks like everything was. It looks like this was probably a forest that was cut down. They probably started logging it, and then something happened. Flood, most likely a flood, happened, and everything got covered up. And then over the hundreds of thousands of years, started to become uncovered because of the now. It's a desert. That's what happens.
Hmm.
We know there are flash floods in deserts after big rains in the mountains. So that most likely after thousands of years is what uncovered all this petrified. But we know that something was over all this. And that's the only way it became petrified. Now, in the case of Devil's Tower is what I think is 2 miles, or not 2 miles. I'm over exaggerating. I think it's 500 something feet, 1,000 feet, something like that. It's way
Just
taller than
a
this stuff.
stump. You talking about just a stump, or
Devil's Tower. I'm gonna say rock structure.
Yeah, I'm not sure how tall it is.
Well, let's go to it so that way we're not giving out false numbers.
what's that number right there? 1759. What
I
was
have
that?
no
Did you
idea where
see
you're
that?
looking.
I just
So
seen it when you
Devil's,
scroll.
I'll go back in a second. So
Okay.
Devil's Tower is 5,120, so just under a mile.
5,000.
So that means the flood or anything that would have covered it would have to be we'll say 5,200 feet high off what we call zero.
Damn.
It didn't. That's not why those trees disappeared.
What the trees that we were just looking at?
That might. That might. As far as if a flood actually took place,
Oh, I see what you're
if a
saying.
flood,
You're
if
saying that the trees.
I'd love to see these in person.
So you're saying the trees that we're talking about in the desert could have been taken there by the flood.
absolutely.
The
I don't think that the flood is what caused the demise of the tree, if you will. I think that those pieces of the tree or whatever the case may be being there are probably a result of being carried there by water, possibly, or something along those lines.
then you would definitely have to explain the uh, the pattern of tree trunks that were in neat patterns, or would you say more that they got there that way based on?
Well, I
Okay.
mean, I think if anything, if for instance that one particular tree, if you will, that we were looking at, if anything, that was brought there in one piece, and over time, with it just sitting there or whatever, natural fractures caused it to break through the way that it did. That would be the only either that or
Excuse me.
either that or the thing was
Shit,
there buried or whatever the whole time, and then when the flood came, it uncovered it.
But
Possibly something like that.
so I feel bad because I kind of set you up on that one. But to have cut it,
that's what we do.
to cut it, or to have uncovered them, anything, they would have to have been uncovered by the flood. No, so flood happens, washes them down there. They would have to been uncovered, found, then cut. Therefore, that means either they were that means the petrifying would have either already happened, or
I didn't say that particular piece of wood was cut. I said, well, I did. I said it looked like it was cut in 4-foot sections to describe the way that it was laying in the desert. But
okay.
I wasn't implying that somebody somebody was logging and they laid it down there and cut it there. That's not what I was just using that to explain how the
Oh, okay.
piece was laying, so that way, and you found the picture because that one picture that you showed was exactly the one that I was referring to. But I do believe that these trees were harvested, or either harvested or cut down, purposely destroyed type deal.
Mm.
Now, as far as the
But
flood,
what type of technology, unless they got hidden technology from our ancestors, what type of technology would they have to harvest a phenomenon like that?
well, you gotta see this. This is one of the things we tend to not give the ancestors the credit that they deserve, just because.
Hold on, real quick, Dre. Uber, is that really you?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
just sent it
that's
to
me,
him.
man.
He's
Okay,
good. He's good. My bad. I should have told you guys.
okay.
I
Go
just sent
go
it to him
ahead, Dre.
myself.
My fault. Go ahead, Dre. What was you saying?
Um, damn.
You was about to harvest about when I asked
Yeah, it, yeah, just damn.
like the technology they have. You was explaining what about
Yeah,
the
yeah,
technology they
nah,
have to harvest and stuff.
yeah. I was just saying, like we can't we can't not say that they couldn't do something as spectacular as cut down a tree that could have been that size. Just like now
Hmm.
they built pyramids. We can't even begin to recreate a pyramid. So just with that kind of comparison alone, you can't discount the fact that they probably, in fact, did have some sort of technology that could easily level something that size, whatever the case may be. Um, and all,
'Cause you know it wasn't no type of by any type of detonation or anything, because they would cut down in sections, like, you know what I mean?
Well, hey, think
well,
about this. Like, the average person nowadays is what, like 6 feet tall? And we cut down
Yeah,
trees that are what, a couple 100 feet?
yeah,
hmm
I mean, what if the person is like what we were talking about, like a giant, or like 150 feet tall? I mean, go figure. Like,
yeah.
that's like really hard to imagine.
Like Paul
But
Bunyan, kind of like Paul Bunyan.
yeah,
He
if
was a
they were like
lumberjack.
150 feet,
He was a
then they
lumberjack,
would have
right?
been able to cut down a tree. Yeah, he was a
right,
lumberjack.
right.
But the
Which,
thing
I mean,
that's
even the
also part
whole
of.
Paul Bunyan story is an interesting, when you actually think about it, like, and you know a little bit about the past with like giants and the skeletons and stuff like that. Like, it's kind of weird to think about Paul Bunyan,
Jack and the Beanstalk.
But see, the problem is
and Jack and the
that
Beanstalk.
when we talk about these trees, we are also talking about these giants as if they're the same situation. So if we're talking about these trees being that tall, we're already insinuating that the giants had to have been there. Whereas in if we're talking about these giants being real, then we're insinuating that these trees were already here. And for me, it kind of has to be. It needs to be that how needs to be possible for me, rather than.
See, you gotta kind of look at it like this: that everything that we see on Earth nowadays, and don't get me wrong, Earth and all the animals, trees, whatever, nature is beautiful, but
It is.
at one point in time, the majesty and the beauty of this earth was probably so mind blowing that we can't even fathom how glorious it was. You know what I'm saying? So basically, what I'm saying is, for all we know, and more than likely it's the case, what we
Oh,
experience now as far as Earth is probably like a scrapyard compared to how the original, or how it's supposed to be before people decided to like destroy it. You know what I'm saying? For all we know, we live in like some makeshift remnant of what Earth used to be, because they're just hanging on to the system that they destroyed so long to keep it, it functioning still.
I think I'm on to something, man, with this with the silicone what I built on these trees and with Paul Bunyan. I think it was there had to been some type of truth to that, and they just turned it into a fairy tale.
Okay, but see, the problem with
Because
that
I'm just looking at his
is that
occupation and everything.
if you're saying that way, and it kind of goes along with the same whole Grand Canyon being dug out thing. If it did happen, because we have fossil finds and we find things from the past, potteries, but from point A to point B to back in the time, we would have to find something. I'm going to tell you now, something that would be able to dig or cut up rock, excavate a hole that pattern. You would find remnants of it. I mean,
Not
I'm saying
necessarily. That's
why?
Yeah, dude, I
come
get what you're
on.
saying. There would be some kind of machinery or something like
No,
that, some
th-
gigantic machinery.
think about it, Sean, and you know better than this, just like I do. We go out and we do these large scale construction projects. We got cranes with booms on them that are like 200 foot long, or whatever, big monstrous
Hmm.
machines. And when the
Hmm.
project is done, you don't see that equipment. You pack that equipment up and it's gone.
Okay, but I'm saying,
Well, but that equipment is
but
still stored somewhere.
yeah, it's
It's still
from the time
there.
it's built, to the time it's it's junked,
Finished,
basically.
completed.
You will
Oh yeah.
find a piece of it. It doesn't just disappear. Just like if we used rocks as hammers, that hammer and that hammer may eventually disintegrate and go back into the earth. But when you're talking metals and talking something that large, it would take hundreds and hundreds of thousands of years to decompose if just parts of it.
Who Who
not the whole
who
thing.
Hmm.
who says that? Who
Has anybody
says
ever went
that?
to the with a metal detector? Have anybody ever explored the
Come
Yes.
Grand
Yeah.
on.
Canyon with a metal detector? They
Okay.
have.
They
Listen.
do. So go ahead.
Something, if an entity or a person or being or whatever you want to call whatever it was that possibly could have done the excavation, do you honestly think that they're going to leave their tools and machinery or whatever behind to decay and let nature take its course?
I can say yes and no, because there are job sites. I've been to job sites where they do like when they're why is it off? Okay, I've been to job sites where they've done excavations and exports, and to get put in a situation where the machines that you're using are so old and the jobs made you enough money that yeah, there are companies that have left machines there. Now, like I'm saying, I'm not saying that they always do this, but let's just say for shits and giggles, you have a 933 loader, and which are pretty damn big. Let's say you've used that loader for 25 years and it's rusted out and you're having so many engine problems, and it's going to cost you $1.5 million to get this somewhere, to transport it somewhere, which is a lot of money. And you decide that we're just going to walk away. Do you, that's a possibility of how that could be done. If there's something that
I
big,
don't know.
or better yet, I can tell you right now that if you go to Arizona, there's a place out there, it's a junkyard, where they have machines that have been out there for, I think, 140 years.
Hmm.
They're rusted out and they're
I,
sitting there, but
I don't know. See, when I see that, when I
And
saw that high altitude balloon footage over the Grand Canyon that made it look like a crack, man, it looked like they can't. It looked like they could have been like an earthquake or something. They just split the earth.
you tighten. But you're when you said, because you said that last time, and you got to understand the difference between what happens during a split and a washed away, so to speak. Because what happens is
Yeah,
it's
I'm sure it
it's
washed away, but I'm just
see,
saying.
this
I think
this is the pro.
the
This is
way it
hold on. This is the problem. This is the problem with it being caused from a flood. First of all, the cubic volume of earth, ground, rock, whatever the case may be, that washed out. Where's the deposit at? It should be
okay.
scattered for like
It's
millions of
not
miles at the
okay.
base of
Here's the
this.
problem. Here's the problem. It's not a flood that made the Grand Canyon. It's what started it. So if you take your garden hose and you put it out in your yard and you turn it on for, let's say, 2 minutes, the pressure is at the very beginning is going to give it a small little indentation in your dirt, maybe a couple of millimeters, right? Well, once that happens and then your source of water is being drained out of that path, it wears it down. That's how it happened. It's the Grand Canyon was built on wearing itself down by a river.
Right. See, now I agree. I definitely agree with your logic on that, but I don't agree with the order. I think that the order was it began as an excavation, or it was continually used as an excavation, and as floodwaters entered the so-called excavation or beginnings of the canyon, it and larger over time due to erosion. But I don't
Let me
think I don't think for a minute that whether it was the beginning stages or any other point that it was caused by a flood.
Have you
let
guys
me.
ever come across the information where they used to actually sail from the Pacific coast to the Grand Canyon? Have you guys ever run
Huh?
across that?
No,
Nah.
Yeah.
hang on one second though, because I'm trying to find. I want to try to find something to kind of get before I explain it, what my thought is on it about that. What Dre just said. Um, the problem with there, perfect. There we go. So what you were saying, think it may have been an excavation, right?
Mhm.
Let me see if I can get this popped up. This is what we generally find when we're in a mining situation, we're exporting. Um, we typically find this. All right. So we typically find things like this. This is a situation where obviously it's been dredged or exported, and we leave it, and it rains, or even if it was a flood or anything that gets into it, it becomes a lake. Now, for this lake right here to become one of the biggest rivers in the United States, it would have to first of all, it'd have to drain a lot. It would have to be such a extraordinary amount of water that it would be able to replenish itself to keep, flooding it. So that's the Grand Canyon. Trying to find another one that's like that. See, I don't think I'm going to see one here, but we'll use this one for example.
See, I'm pretty sure I touched on this before, but I think if anything, perhaps the canyon was used, and it was used intelligently. For all we know, they drilled or did whatever, put certain weaknesses, created certain weaknesses here and there. Certain times, whatever flood comes along, dislodges whatever that they weaken, and then they collect all the goodies at the bottom.
But the problem with that, okay, I see what
Nah,
you're saying. You're saying instead of digging and putting the dirt in a truck, they dug it and then let the flood water, take it down to wherever they were at.
do the work.
Okay,
Yeah,
here's the problem with that. So you dig, right? As you're digging. Normally, we would put it in a screen or a tumbler. We would put in a screen and a tumbler that would separate the different fines, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you did that, you would then be starting your process over again, because the flood would turn everything. Everything would just get all meshed up again.
Yeah, you'd basically be starting over again. You're just moving the problem.
But no, you're not. I mean, think about it. If you have minerals and other elements or whatever that are usable scattered throughout this canyon region, and they can locate them, and then they can somehow weaken the deposits, and then use the flow of water in order to dislodge and basically move all that stuff down the canyon so that they don't physically have to transport it. And then they just basically collect all the resources at the bottom, wherever everything, like I said before, if this canyon was caused by some sort of erosion, where is the deposit? The deposit is not there. All that material that used to be there is gone. Where is it at?
No, it's not gone. It's Lake
Sure
Mead.
it is.
Everything about Lake Mead is that. Lake Mead is also Lake Mead is just also an excerpt of what some of the stuff. Now, what you're saying would make more sense by that.
Man-made, isn't it?
No, not at all. Lake Mead was made by the opening of the Colorado River. It flooded canyons, and they built the dam. So I mean, Lake Mead is man-made, as in man-made structures made the water fill up and stay there. But the area, Lake Mead itself, is a bowl in itself. It wasn't dug.
Lake Mead is a man-made lake without that dam.
You're right. No, okay. It is man-made in a sense that if we hadn't been involved, the water would not be there.
Right.
It was part of the Colorado River. It would have just flowed right through.
Right.
Yeah, we built a dam. We dammed it up, but we didn't dig it.
It stopped the river.
Well, what?
Yes. In a sense, the dam we put there made Lake Mead.
Right. Without that,
we didn't dig Lake Mead.
Yeah, without that dam, Lake Mead wouldn't be there. It just happened to fill up because it's a lower depression.
Yeah. The only thing man-made about Lake Mead is the dam. We didn't dig Lake Mead. We didn't dig that area. It was already like that. We just dammed it up.
Right. If anything, it would have been a lot. It would have been like 10 times smaller, but there would have been a waterfall of some sort somewhere, or whatever. That water wouldn't be lake. It would be passing through.
Yeah.
And then it would find its way back into whatever main body, before it found the ocean.
Now, what I was saying is, you're saying that there's deposits, if it did happen that way. Well, the way I think it happened would make more sense because it's not going to be just this giant wall of material that coming down at once. It's going to be slow. It's just going to be in there. We all know that dirt has water, or the rivers have dirt inside the sediment layers inside the water as it moves. So it would just slowly be doing it. The way you have rapids, you have a rapid in the rivers, whitewater rapids. Those are done by erosion and boulders falling and boulders being uncovered. I think that's the situation with any material that was actually in there. Now we do see rocks and some of the same type of settlement that was there downriver, but we're not going to see a million tons or 16 or like 6.5 million tons of material at the bottom of the lake or the bottom of the river.
Well, from just saying from what I was told, whatever the case may be, the Grand Canyon was caused by a flood. Makes no sense.
Absolutely. Oh, no. I'm not on the position that it was made by flood at all. The only position I have is it may have been started by a flood, which was that insanely giant lake that's up there that used to be there. That may have started it, but I don't
See,
believe at all that a mile deep canyon was made by
listen.
one flood.
This is the, as far as I'm concerned, and I might be wrong, but this is the smoking gun to me that it was never caused by a flood or what they say a river, like they tell you that valleys are formed because a river starts running and then it just starts cutting its way lower and lower and lower into the valley, whatever, blah blah blah. So now if you take, how wide is the Canyon River, the river that runs through the Grand Canyon?
Which part?
I mean, at its
No, yeah.
widest
I think
part.
I believe it's a mile at its widest.
Okay, a mile at its widest part. Now, how wide is the Grand Canyon at the top at its widest part?
No. When they say that, that's what that means.
Hmm?
That's what that means.
The Grand Canyon is a mile wide at the top.
At the rim. Yeah, at its widest piece, it's a mile wide.
Okay, so then it's probably safe to say that at the widest point, the river might be 200 yards or so.
Wide? I mean, the river itself?
Yeah,
I would say,
if that. It probably ain't even that. It might be 100 feet wide.
no, it's bigger than that. At certain spots, it's bigger than that. But the average, I would say, is probably, they'll say about 200 feet, 300 feet at the widest.
All right. So, how do you get that amount of water 200, 300 feet wide? How does a band of water 200, 300 feet wide cut a canyon a mile wide at the top?
I can show you. Hang on, give me 1 second. I can actually show you exactly how it happens. How do I do it from here? Okay, I got it. Oh yeah, Flat Trotter may come in.
Mm-hmm.
So when you see him,
Mike. Awesome.
Is he here? Because I can't see the Hangouts right now.
Let's see. No, he's not here yet.
Okay, I just want to let you guys know so we didn't you didn't surprise anybody. I gotta redo it. I gotta find it. But I can basically, I don't want to run any other YouTube's videos because I don't want to lag out. But I have a way to show you. Okay, here we go.
I mean, I understand how erosion works, and then the water cuts a channel at the bottom, and then the sides get heavy and fall in. I mean, I get all that,
but so basically, imagine we'll start off with the one that's 3 feet deep, but a mile wide, or you can start with one that's a foot deep, 5 feet wide.
Mm-hmm.
If let's just say the top it's soft, it's sandy, so that part's going to wash off pretty quick, right? Maybe from that, maybe 5 feet wide becomes 7 feet wide. That makes sense, right?
Mhm.
Okay, well then you go down a little bit more and you get to a settlement that's more of a rocky structure. Well, if it's more of a rocky structure, the sides are going to wear faster than the rock part will. So that erosion may, instead of going down faster, may go wider faster. So then maybe by the time it got through that rock settlement of because of erosion and wear, it may have become a half a mile wide by the time it get to get 10 feet deep through that rock sediment.
Okay. Now, just when you get to the rock alone, unless there's a channel that is narrow, it doesn't suggest years and years and years of subjecting it to running water. For one, because that rock would be perfectly smooth. For two,
But it would also
uh,
wear itself too.
huh?
It would also wear out too. So it may have been smooth at one point, but then it wears out completely, and then it would continue going.
Um, one thing about rock when it's exposed to water, it's always smooth and it always takes an extremely long time to cut through the rock. So even if in the instance where the water was running on top of the rock and it was cutting the sides back faster than the rock, it would it would literally have to either turn into some major like flat piece of rock that's exposed and then turns into a waterfall, or there would have to be a channel in that rock that water cut in order to get to the lower level. That canyon is pretty consistent from as far as how the sides have eroded. Like basically in general, it makes a V shape. You don't have any tight like spots where water had to find its way down to the next level and just kind of cut a
That's
thin
a
channel
that's a
over.
switchback. That's exactly how switchbacks are made. You hit a rock wall, it comes back, and then if then the sides are good, or sides are softer than the front of that wall, it'll make a switchback. Now, I like to say that if you look at a Grand Canyon in that V shape, it would be something that you could look at and make an export, because if it was in that situation, it would look completely different. You don't dig out a mile deep in a V pattern.
Yeah, I didn't say you did.
No, but you say that you believe the Grand Canyon was dug out, exported.
No, I told you I believe that mining was being. I told you that mining was occurring in the Grand Canyon, and then as the floods come, or as the waters, rain, whatever the case may be, enter the Grand Canyon, it further eroded it.
Then you would have,
I
but
I
then
did,
but go ahead.
I never said that that entire Grand Canyon was excavated. I
Okay,
told you that before.
okay, then different sections would have different erosion patterns. So
And this is
the reason we know that the Grand Canyon, when it started, was the fact that the first 100 miles or the first 50 miles of the Grand Canyon, the erosion is different than the erosion from the next 50, because it happened sooner, or it happened differently, or rock settlements mixed in and kept going. It's deeper in certain sections based on what, the times it's happened. So there's more layers visible at the top of the Grand Canyon than at the bottom. You understand what I mean? So the deepest part of the Grand
well
Canyon.
because it's
Go ahead.
wider. Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
I can see that.
Now, I mean, and for me, the only issue I have with the digging of any part of the Grand Canyon is we don't see any evidence of it.
Yeah, you do in the turnbacks.
So I've never seen scuff marks from excavating. See, that's the other thing. I don't know what machines they could have possibly had to excavate any kind of that amount of dirt.
The same type that we basically use like I said before. If you look at one of the turnbacks, um, and you imagine and you imagine on the inner portion of a turnback. So just imagine if you're sitting, if you got a donut, you know what a turnback is, but if you got a donut and you're sitting on the one half and you're in a machine that's in a spindle or a turret, or so you could rotate in 360 degrees, and it's got like a derrick, a crane derrick that sticks out, and it has a like a carbide type wheel on the end that just spins. So basically, as it rotates left and right, it just basically carves out. Like you've seen these, if you like look up any type of mining operation or whatever, they generally tend to have these types of machines on site. So they're kind of, if you ever wanted to see what one looks like, they're kind of easy to find. But this technology is not something new. These things have been around probably since the 1800s. Easy. If they were around in the 1800s, just kind of going by what is disclosed to us and what's not. For all we know, these types of machines could have been commonplace, and they would have you think that it was a new technology, kind of like how you use a cell phone right now, and you think it's relatively new technology, and here the technology for the cell phone's been around since like the 50s.
So you're saying stuff like these, right? Most importantly, this one.
I don't see anything.
I
Yes,
just, I just,
something similar to that. Like, and just so people realize, if they can see that picture, that thing is probably the size of like three houses.
oh no, this is, so what you guys are looking at right now is probably the biggest mining equipment that is made, so to speak. Oh, damn it, God damn it. I got to do it again. Um, I was trying to do something completely different. Hang on.
Holy crap! That was loud.
Yeah, like that thing. Actually, that thing is probably bigger than three houses.
No, it's as
It's
big as,
probably like a 10-story building.
it's about the size of a two city blocks easily.
So
Um,
they're massive. Yeah, so they're massive.
oh yeah, they're insanely big. See that, but that's my problem. We would see those things, something of them around, especially the tips, because the tips are made of diamonds.
You see, you can't. I mean, like I get what you're saying because it's
They
so.
have to be. They have to be diamonds if they're cutting rock.
No. I'm saying as far as the size of the machine, like you're saying, there has to be some remnant of it or whatever the case may be. But you can't necessarily say that. It's just like that's like saying there should be some remnant left over of whatever tool they used to build the pyramids.
Okay, but see,
you
that's what I'm
you
saying.
don't
To cut rock, you need some type of diamond. That's why they're so confused
know.
about it.
That,
What cuts the rock that'd be
oh, excuse me.
feasible.
I mean, not that I've ever done it, but just according to how it works and the effects that it has on things like rock, you could probably use a sound frequency and
Okay, so
actually.
oh, actually, yeah, but that's like splitting rock and stuff like that. But so see this right
Well,
here. This is like the best example of what the Grand Canyon would look like if sections were dug out. It would have to look like this, based on
who?
how you.
Okay, so listen, who's to say that at some point in time it didn't look like that, and the only reason why it looks the way it does now is because of erosion, because
Because
it's been
when they
untouched for so long.
okay, because when they do excavate like this and they build these channels, what would happen is you would either see divots on the inside of each step because that's the grade you have to put them into. Otherwise, it would just crumble on you, and that makes it dangerous. That's why when we do mining like this, there's things we have to do. There's ways you have to dig it. Otherwise, one, you
Well,
get
that
stuck. Go ahead.
Well, no, I'm just gonna say, yeah, you got agencies like OSHA and stuff. They make
Exactly.
you,
Well, okay, but
yeah.
then you go back because this is kind of one of the things that I went into when I was talking about the craters and quarry thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you go back, we'll say, I'm pretty sure. So I mean, shoot, mining from we'll say 1,000 years ago. It's not so much that it's an OSHA thing. It's a how can you do it thing. So if we look for, you can see how slow I am for real. There are things that even back in the day they did that showed that they still had an idea of how to do these things, even it's that far away, like that long ago. So I'm trying to find one that's
Well, yeah, yeah, I get that. That's why, to me, it's easy to see that they could accomplish something like that, especially if everything was bigger, whether it was the people that lived or the trees that were in existence or the tools that they used. And I don't think for a minute that just because something seems so megalithic beyond something that we use in modern day,
I'm sorry to cut you off, Dre, but this is the machine that me and Dre were talking about. This is that.
yeah.
This is the largest one they make right now.
Right. Now, see, for instance, that picture right there, something like this, not saying it was that, but something similar to how this works could have been sitting just like that inside one of those turnbacks, and where that little circular, or not little, but where that circular wheel is on the left side, as that rotates from left to right, and it makes that turn back nice and smooth, or whatever the case may be. And
See, that's
it's
okay. Now, that was kind of the issue I had with it being this. For one, the Grand Canyon it actually isn't big enough to to support this digging there, because it wouldn't be able to move. It doesn't. It turns, but it doesn't turn in that fashion. If that makes sense.
well,
Um,
but just this is what I'm saying. Listen to me. Just because we're looking at that machine doesn't mean it has to be exactly that type of machine or exactly how that
that size.
functions.
Okay,
But
I see what
that
you're
tech,
saying.
but that type of technology or that type of setup is something that could have created those turnbacks as opposed to them being caused by solely a natural occurrence.
Okay, I see what you're saying. You're saying but I need evidence of
Well, I
that.
mean, I wish I could find the picture, the pictures that I saw, and I'm not sure what video might kind of touch on it, but there are some people that are into this Grand Canyon type thing pretty heavy, and they claim to have evidence showing the kerf marks for a machine of such, what we looked at might have possibly been used. You
I
know what I
gotta look for
mean?
them. I definitely gotta look for them then, because everything that I've seen is why I believe what I believe. And then, if I can find or see something different that backs what you're saying, then you know me, I'm gonna look into it and see how
Yeah, 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 no
go from
doubt.
there. But I can't. I was trying to find out the dig patterns of that machine. Um, I know there's a natural. I don't know where it's at. There is a natural occurrence of the way that is.
The turnbacks.
No, no, no. There's a. I think it's in Australia. There's a. Oh, what's it called? Matter of fact, I have it. I don't have it because if I look, I'll lag out. I think it's in Australia, but there's like that machine we were just looking at. You know how
Hmm.
it spins. It has almost like imagine what those would be if you did that over and over again. But it doesn't make it smooth. Is the problem? That's what I was going to try to show you when you were saying how it's smooth.
Well, it's not smooth. I mean, it's relatively smooth. Like for instance, that machine that we were just looking at, that doesn't leave a smooth pattern. It leaves kerf marks. Basically, it
Yes.
looks like if you ever, and I'm sure you probably had, if you ever cut something with a diamond blade. When you put that blade into it, you can actually see, the round score marks. Even though it's smooth, you can still see, like the rounds. But now, if you were to take that blade and move it from left to right, as opposed to plunging it into a surface, it's gonna make humps and
Yeah,
low
okay, no,
ridges.
I have a good idea what you're saying. I definitely do. But until like I said, eventually we'll probably end up in a back chat, and we'll start looking through a bunch of things, so it'll be easier. But it's kind of hard, like it's hard for me to see what you're saying without even having seeing it at all what you're saying. So, and I know I haven't looked at anywhere near anything near all of the things that are actually around. I'm adding myself to the chat, to the Hangout, just so you know.
You're adding yourself to the Hangout.
Yeah, because I gotta smoke a cigarette. Can't take the computer with me.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, Sean, they cloned you. I'm about to boot you.
And actually, you do have control, I think. Click on somebody. You can click on anybody and see if you have control. You should have control.
Oh yeah, actually.
Yeah, I usually give everyone control. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, though.
Say what?
I know. Hang on, I'm trying to.
You still there, Sean? Where'd you go?
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, all right, man.
No, I don't know what's up with my system, but every once in a while the volume kind of jumps and then it mutes me.
Actually, I muted you because I got controls. I was just testing them out.
Let me just handle this real quick. Dreads, not Dread. That what I was saying was, thanks, Dreads. I appreciate that. As for Darth, if my mods want to ban you because you are crude in here, I don't mind at all. I will unban you for the next show. But this is not MMA assholes, so you're not anything does not go here. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, Earth. I'm here. Look, see, I'm actually saying what's up now. I do apologize for that. When I was muted by Dre, I was actually in the middle of saying what's up to everybody.
My bad.
So let's go up I'm gonna go up the chat a little bit and see what's been going on.
Yeah, what's up to everybody in the chat? I can't see it.
Yes, Time Q, how you doing? And welcome back, Tanner. Tanner, you got a wrench because you are not as crude as Darth Bane. I think you have a little bit more brains when it comes to being somewhere else besides just at the MMA holes. Just so everyone understands, the MMA holes is the MMA site where basically trolling is encouraged. Anything goes over there. I'm not gonna lie, it's fun to be there, but when you're not there, it doesn't work here. Said, hey, what's up, McVice? Welcome. And Dreads, Billy Sanchez, what's up, man? Flat Trotter, I sent you. Oh, you're here now. Flat Accord. If you got any music, Flat Accord, let me know. I'll make sure I play that before we take off.
What's good, boys?
How you doing, sir? You were so quiet, man. I didn't even know you were here.
I had the mute on. I was listening to you guys talk.
Cool. Bill Hicks Jr. is here. I'm surprised he's still here.
Yeah, I was about to give him a DDT, but I was like, he must be in here. He must be all right. I ain't gonna mess.
Yeah, see, so with Bill Hicks Jr., this is what it is. He's obviously, we all know him as a troll, but he's not. I think he's a troll because everyone else around him were trolls, so he kind of felt like he needed to. So I allow him to stay as long as he doesn't do anything stupid or say anything stupid to anybody.
True that.
But I also did tell him, I told him, of all the people on this earth, he will never in his life get a wrench. It's just not going to happen here.
No
Never.
wrench for you, my friend.
Never
No
going to get a
wrench for
wrench.
you, buddy.
So what happens is he's forced to be nice, and if he's not nice, then any of my mods can get rid of him. Now, I think a lot of people come in here and that have never been here or something, and they see all these mods. I prefer that because what happens is it makes people without mods act right. Now, I do have rules as well. Do not be disrespectful, and do not be a lifelong asshole. So if you're an asshole somewhere else and someone notices you, you're probably going to get banned, and I don't care. Now, then again, if you get banned and I don't know you as one of the biggest assholes on YouTube, I will unban you for the next stream. Just know that. But otherwise, that Bill, you'll never get a wrench in your life. I Spy, how you doing? If you want to jump on the panel, just let me know. Fallacy Toke, you do. I don't know where I remember you from though, man.
Who's that?
Fallacy Toke. I don't know. I've seen him in the stream a few times. Actually, what I'll do now.
Yeah, I've seen Fluffy Toke around quite a bit. Actually.
Is he cool? You know, I don't know who he is.
I'm not gonna like flat out
vouching for
him, but I mean, from what I can tell, from what I've seen in the chats or whatever, he just seemed like a cool person to me. But I don't want to say yeah, and then they turn out to be a fucking Shrek in training and shit. I mean,
never heard that.
Nothing against Fluffy Toke or whatever. I just don't know him like that. But I've seen him around.
Yeah. What I'll do is because this is what's been happening, and I've noticed this happen. I don't have almost none. I mean, I think Bill Hicks is the only troll I actually have inside the chat, and it's been this way for a while now.
Good.
So
shit.
I think what I'll do is I'll start bringing down my my slow mo chat part. I think I'll just start taking seconds off of it because I'm not sure if the people that aren't wrenched have noticed, but it was at 60 a few days ago, and now it's at 25. So you're definitely able to enjoy yourselves. I think I've seen you around. There you go. Okay, so anything or basically I'm watching the chat now, kind of. If anybody wants to jump in, let me know. Doesn't mean you're going to, but I will definitely think about it, depending on who you are. I think we were kind of where we were at. We were at the equipment and whatnot.
Yeah.
Hang on, I'm gonna do a quick switch.
I mean, I gotta say though, I definitely I definitely see where you're coming from. I guess my thing is just pretty much until somebody can prove to me unequivocally that they're not trees or ancient trees of some sort, then I'll leave it alone. And I'll be honest with you, I don't remember the guy's name, but I know he frequents the Sun and Moon group. He actually started. We were talking about this one day, and he was showing us how, like for instance, Devil's Tower, that structure could have been caused from some sort of excuse me, like a plasma strike, like some sort of high energy plasma strike. And he actually showed us an experiment. It didn't exactly recreate what the Devil's Tower is, but I could see where he was going with it. If anything, that probably had the most, pull as far as I would say as far as sway in my idea of what those trees were. But I definitely see where you're coming from, though.
That's what I do. Anybody who knows anybody or any YouTube channels that better explain Devil's Tower or this silica type atmosphere, let me know. Email me, please. Because I am definitely. I'll talk to me because I definitely want to find out who the guy was.
Definitely go on the Sun and Moon Group's page and look at their videos. I want to say going back to about maybe August, somewhere in that neighborhood, maybe a little bit before, or a little bit after, more than likely just a little bit after, because I think that was around the time when we were talking about it.
Okay. Oh,
and
so it was around the time me and you had started bringing it up and everything.
yeah, actually, now that you say that, it was that's kind of what kind of brought this ancient tree stuff back to the top a little bit or whatever. But yeah, definitely go and check him out. Like I said, I don't know his name, but
Okay. Yeah.
he's got some good info though. That's for sure.
Yeah, because it definitely intrigues me on how it possible, or how it even possible that it became. Now,
Right.
I want to state right now that stupid ass video I still believe is the dumbest video I've ever seen, for one reason and one reason only.
What
If
video is
someone
that?
knows Russian, I'm pretty sure you could vouch for this.
That
What
video.
that lady
Okay.
says in the video that we watched is not what the guy says at all. Like it's like 1/3 of what the man says.
Oh shit. Got the Chinese overdub, wrong words or some shit. That ain't cool.
Yeah, the translation is just trash. It's just
I know
up.
there's an English version of it out there. It's
No,
been
see,
a
that's the
while.
problem. There has to be a better English version, because the one that everyone probably sees is the one with the lady, basically just saying it. That one is a direct interpretation of what she understood, or whoever understood, and she read it. Because the Russian version does not say half the stuff it says or adds to it.
Why, you know Russian?
No, but I know people that watched that video that were Russian and said that is not what it says. There was a big video. I know. I'll even put it up. There's a video on YouTube.
Was that guy Glover?
I don't know. I don't remember. But it was
he was probably a Glover, and he was trying to throw you off your game, trying to get you off.
No, there was a guy
with a banana in the tailpipe.
There's a guy who explained. No, he was even for it, but he explained that wasn't exactly what the guy was saying.
No, I hear you. I'm just messing with you.
Hang on, I'm gonna switch over again.
Yeah, I gotta try and find out some more stuff about these trees.
All right, I'm actually back at my computer now, and I'm seeing people put. Last time we talked about this, we talked about those the root systems. That could be the canals and stuff underground, those tunnels. Perhaps. I mean,
the cave systems. That's what the people in the video were saying, that all these cave systems, these networks of cave systems all throughout the world are the basically the paths that these roots grew on, and then whoever people basically went and scavenged all the jewels, basically.
Yep.
So, I mean, I definitely, like I said, between the trees themselves, all that other good stuff, the salt water, I definitely think that it was something that was a part of the original system.
Yeah.
But, that could be wrong. I know it ain't no damn lava that oozed up out of the ground, though. That's some bullshit.
Yeah.
That's what the mainstream science tell you. Oh, this was some lava that oozed up out the ground and made these fucking columns. Get the fuck out of
here. Yeah.
That's that bullshit. Some damn vertically rising lava. Fuck out of here. I don't know. Like I said, that guy from the Sun and Moon group, though, he did, like I said, he actually presented an experiment, and it showed how this high voltage could actually raise such a structure. Like I said, it wasn't the structure of the Devil's Tower, like in the test, it didn't come out exactly like Devil's Tower, but it did raise a structure up off of what was considered to be the ground or whatever.
But
so it was interesting.
But it makes more sense to me that the pressure from the magma would be able to do it more than it being a tree.
Yeah, but that magma is a soft material. When that rock is liquefied, how does it raise vertically and hold that shape?
No, because what's happening is it's not the magma doing it. It comes up, it solidifies, becomes rock, and then from that point on, everything under it just builds from under and under and under and under. It's not. Devil's Tower wasn't a big thing of magma.
You're saying it would basically grow like a hair. Like all the growth occurs in the follicle, and then it raises higher and higher. Type deal.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
Hey, how you doing, SY?
How you doing?
Hey, have you guys ever heard of Daydreamers?
Look at that greenback.
Yeah, I've heard of
Say again? Daydreamers?
Daydreamers.
Oh.
He's got some really good stuff on this subject.
Is that the links you put in?
Yep.
Okay.
Nice.
I didn't link it to the actual videos, but his channel's full of it.
Okay. That's fine.
He's probably got a lot of good information then.
Yeah, he does. He talks all about the Titans, and he's got some really good stuff. He made me look at a lot of things differently.
He actually makes the connections between the Titans and the trees?
Yes.
Nice. I got to check this brother out because
it's one of my favorite channels on YouTube. Like way before I even found Flat Earth, I was watching him.
Now, can I ask, is it all observation, or does he have like a reason, like a backing reason?
This dude is like, that's all he does is research this stuff. He's really into it. Like he reads books after book after book. Like I don't know, man. He's got some kind of special eye for this stuff.
He sleeps and breathes that shit.
Yeah, literally. It's funny because on my very first live stream, like
he's like, damn, I just found the crystal.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, but the whole Titan thing is pretty awesome. You know, when you see those mountains and like, they look like large humans. You know, it's pretty bizarre. Some of the stuff that you see, you know. What was the other channel you mentioned one time before? Candy, not tonight, obviously, but I think it was Subphotonic or
Subphotonic.
Subphotonic.
Yeah, he's got some cool stuff.
Age of Disclosures. Yeah, he's got a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, them two guys. Yep. They got some
okay, so
Mud Fossil.
So I've seen that one, the Mud Fossil ones, the Age of Disclosure. To me, personally, those are all observational, you know. And I said this to Dre, and he actually didn't like it when I said it. Or actually, I think it was Legendary. I'm sorry, where I said the same way they observe these rocks, it's the same way people observe and see like God in a piece of bread.
See, I actually said the same thing because if you look at some of these, what they call faces, if you look at them from a different angle, they no longer look like faces. It's only like a sweet spot where it looks like a face. So, and it's like me, for instance, if I was laying down and somebody was looking at my profile, obviously it would look like a face. If you went to like the top of my head and you looked down towards my chin, it would still look like a face. It doesn't necessarily happen like that with a lot of those structures. You know, a lot of the structures you can change your viewing angle slightly, and then it no longer looks like a face unless the dude's got like a big ass boil growing out of his nose or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
So it kind of changes, but I can see where like I said, I can see where they're going with it. So I'm not willing to completely throw it out the window, especially when you consider stuff like the silica trees in conjunction with the Titans. To me, that makes it more credible, if anything. Especially if there's somebody that can,
it makes it more viable.
It
makes it more viable.
I'm biased to the Bible, so I don't know. I don't really have an opinion on that stuff. I mean, I've looked into it and I find it really kind of fascinating, and it's really easy to believe it once you learned about it, you know. So, but I don't know. It's hard for me to go away from what I believe. So,
right.
and it's hard to put the two together. It's like it's kind of like, is the Earth flat or is it a globe? You can't pick some of each. You have to pick one or the other.
But even with that, though,
Yep.
the whole reason we even decided that, okay, the Earth is flat, is by observing and then things that didn't make sense that we could show, and then things that made sense on a flat Earth that showed. When it comes to these rock structures, the only thing is, just like Dre was saying, it's okay. Well, you happen to be at a certain angle and take a picture. Now, the guy on Age of Disclosure, he has said and stated quite a few times that he has DNA evidence of this.
That's
now,
where I actually
when someone
drew
says
the line.
DNA evidence of
he
what?
said he has
that it was
that
an
these
actual
rock
Titan.
things are. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
that's his. He says he has proof. So when I hear that, I expect to see a lab report with a DNA pattern, code. I have not seen that. All I've heard him say is he has it, and that's his backing. Reason I can't. There's no way for me to be able to just be like, okay, that's all it is. Like I showed
Right,
earlier.
we can't take his word for it. We need to see DNA evidence. He's claiming that. You're right.
Yeah, but not showing it. Now, if I had DNA evidence of that proportion, I would have an hour-long video with an hour-long. Oh, go ahead.
No, I just said, hell yeah. Anybody would prove it.
Yep.
Yeah, I would have everything. Everyone in the chat, you would see an hour-long picture of that DNA proof. You wouldn't see nothing else. I would need to talk.
That was actually where I kind of stopped looking into it and drew the line when I came across this one video where the guy, he was showing you a cross section or whatever of this one rock or mud fossil, and he was pointing out how the organs were preserved, and he was pointing out like the kidneys and the heart and all this other stuff, and then he said something about having DNA proof, and then after that I was kind of like, man, come on, bruh. And I ain't really been back since, but
Yeah, I actually wrote him a message, a message in an email after I saw the first video where he said I have DNA proof, and he wrote me back and he said, watch this video. So I watched that video, and he definitely says it paper, but nothing that showed anything that would make me go, oh crap. It was more like, oh, paper. Oh, nope, it's gone.
you couldn't verify it.
What made me decide that this is not going to happen, I can't go along with it, I refuse to, is when he had a debate. He had a debate with a couple of universities. Now you're thinking, shit, if he's having a debate with two, like I think one was Stanford and the other one was Harvard. Though you hear those names, you think, okay, maybe there is some credibility to it because these universities are debating about this. Until I got to that video, and Harvard and Stanford were people that were on the whiteboard. And he would give his explanation, and then he would read basically like studies that Harvard or Stanford had done on rocks, basically. So, like, if they did a study on a certain sediment layer or a certain mountain or something like that, he would say what he had to say, and then he'd go to whatever review statement they had, and he would read like 2 sentences off of it, and then he would go back to what he was saying. So the second I saw that, I was like, something's up with this guy. It's weird. Then, I add in Legendary's rock porn, and I'm sorry, it's what it is it's old guys that need some, and depending on what they needed that time in their lives is what they would find. And at one point they needed needed a little lady help, so they found one in a rock.
Damn.
I don't want to say it, but that's what it seems to be. There's more proof of that than there is that there's a 20-foot vagina somewhere petrified in a hill, right? I'm sorry.
I mean, that John do look rather real, though. I'm just saying.
Oh no! I'm not gonna lie. It did. It looks scary real.
I guess I
But
missed that.
man,
it was.
I'm
It was a special week around here. It was like it became. I don't know how no one heard. Like I had random people ask me, "What the hell is rock porn?" I'm like, "Excuse me." I'm like, "I heard someone talking about rock porn." I'm like, "Holy
what?
crap!" Yeah.
All I know is whoever she was waiting for was she was ready to go. She was like open wide, come and get it. Holla at your boy.
There's a small part of me that would.
My bad. I'm sorry.
In honor of I don't know if I should or not.
What, you gonna show the picture?
I think so.
Hold on, let me go get my lotion. Yeah, hold on. Yeah, I got a fresh
at least
bottle.
there's no
I got a
shame.
fresh bottle. I got a fresh bottle of the Jerkins on deck. Nah, let me
For
stop,
extra
man.
dried skin.
Oh yeah. We'll leave that motherfucker silky smooth.
Oh, it's so wrong.
Oh my
Now
goodness.
I'm kind of like, no, maybe I shouldn't now.
Hey man, you didn't open up the can of worms, boy. You might as well go ahead and open that up. I'm gonna go get the vajapple. We just
Everybody wants to see that picture now.
Hey, you do realize that I think I'm the only person that has that picture, Dre, and that holds on to it.
The vajapple?
I bet you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got the link on deck if anybody wants it.
Every time I see Dre's I think of the vajapple.
Yeah.
So when Dre first brought this up and he showed it, I want to let you know. I showed that in one of the links I'm in the back chats, and I scarred probably about 25 people. Like if I go into one of those back chats right now and I go, "Does anybody want to see a vajapple?" Everyone says no. They all say every one of them said burnt into their head.
Yep. Scarred for life.
Oh,
so anytime after that, I'll disclose I'll be like, "Hey, you do know if you see this, you're never gonna not see it, right?"
You can't unseen something.
Never.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But hey man, it was in a museum on display, so a lot of people got that shit burnt in their medulla oblongata.
Yeah, the problem is that I don't think YouTube gives a at all.
Man, fuck them. Damn.
Yeah, I agree with you, Dre, but I kind of like this channel, and I don't want to start over.
Yeah, no, I hear you, bro. I hear you. I don't want you to start over, man.
Seems like they try to find things, especially on a.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't know how age of disclosure is still around. I mean, without having to go to YouTube and do it, but I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm feeling very uncomfortable trying to find it with what I'm seeing right now.
Are you looking for the?
Yeah, I'm just Google searching images, and I'm seeing a lot of stuff that I want to see in the first place myself. I think I'm about to find it, and I mean it. Oh, hang on.
Yeah, that joint looks, man, whatever. It even has a clip. That's
Oh my
crazy.
God.
Yo, seriously.
No, wait, time out. No, this thing has everything there is to do with it. I mean,
literally, it's crazy. It's crazy, and it's rock. It's got trees growing around it, like it's got a bush and everything. It's crazy.
Oh my God.
Like I'm pretty okay. Well,
I can't believe you never seen it.
See, I found it, but I can't show. All right, I know how to do it because there's actual stuff going on around it that I don't think I can put up. I gotta figure out how to show this because let's just say they're
we don't want to see
showing
the other
they're showing a comparison at the moment. So
oh, they're doing the side by side.
yeah, I can't show that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's crazy. I ain't gonna front. When the first time I seen that joint, I was like, "Yo, that's crazy."
Oh yeah, it's definitely it. See, I can't say it. You know what? I'm gonna make everyone squint when they see this because I'm not gonna. I don't care. Here you go. I don't know if it'll work that way. Damn it! Hang on. I gotta see.
So you have
Well,
issues.
I haven't moved over, but I can't just show it that way. It won't work. No, see, I can't show it. How do I do? Well, I know exactly how I do it. I just don't. Hang on.
You'll mess around again.
Just put a link to it in the chat. Then they can look at it if they want to.
Yeah.
I want to see it now. I got my lotion.
I ain't gonna happen, Ray.
No,
I can't do that for you, but
he's using coconut oil for that too. I bet.
Yeah, man. How you know about the coconut oil? What?
Because you told me about it the other day, brother.
Oh, dang. You got good memory.
Oh my God, y'all! I use coconut oil for everything.
Oh,
yeah,
jeez.
Coconut oil now too.
Well, you'll never look
I
at
have a
coconut
big
oil the
giant
same
thing of
again.
organic coconut oil, like in my bathroom, dude. I use it for everything. Okay, that's
Yo, but now on some real though.
all right.
Like,
Seriously, sometimes I don't think about what things are going to sound like before they come out of my mouth, and then it's too late.
Trey and Trotter are on their way.
Totally not what I meant,
Lifetime
y'all.
supply.
hey, look,
Let me see if I have it over here.
coconut oil is the bomb for real, for real.
It really is.
Yeah, it is.
You guys have issues.
I literally, like I said
The
the
whole
other
fact
day,
that
I literally use it from everything from toothpaste to squeaky hinges.
I use it now, like seriously, like if you're a female, like you never have to use shaving cream or soap or anything like that to shave. Like, dude, when I come out the shower, you might as well dude, I can't even put it into words. Like, there's nothing. Man. No, I'm serious. Like that stuff is like you never have to buy a different product in your life.
That's
if you
awesome.
just go buy some organic coconut oil. I have a big bucket of it.
Yeah, and it's pretty cheap too. All natural. None of that stuff they got.
All right, I'm gonna give this like another minute of looking, and then I'm done looking.
See,
You
Sean
guys gonna
being
all
greedy. He over there, man. You need to straighten
no
up.
see. I don't roll like, oh, I never seen this one before. This is wow. Okay, damn. Yeah. Damn it. See, YouTube even knows it's freezing everything now. It's like, hey, no, don't show that.
Sean mess around and get locked up.
No, that will never happen. Issues.
Yeah, I know that.
That's one. Like seriously, you guys understand what I have to do to try to find this one? It's not fun.
Oh my!
That's not. No, that's not one.
That's not even the one.
Yeah,
that's not even the one.
That joint look like it's got a couple miles on it.
That's not the one. That's not even the one. That's not even the one at all.
Yeah, I don't think I ever seen that one before.
That one was bad enough, though.
I know. Okay, I know.
You just wait till you see the other one.
I'm gonna look. Gotta go look where me and Legendary talking to Bat Chat because I sent him a couple pictures one day and I figured it out. I was like, I know exactly why you like this shit now. No, because I was watching. I started watching Age of Disclosure, and they had this girl that was basically describing it, and it was like, okay, I see why you like it now. It's like an 800 number for rocks. You think I'm playing?
Rock porn.
900 rocks off.
Yes, that's exactly what it was like. She was talking about, like, damn. I was like, I don't think she should be talking about this stuff right now.
99 cents a minute, $3.99 every minute after.
Yeah, it's not. Okay, you know what? I'm sorry. I've looked too far into this. I can't find it. Oh man,
Yeah.
I got a little bit of a headache.
Yeah,
Look, if you want to see it that bad, just email me, and I'll email it back to you, and I can make sure I don't get kicked off YouTube.
Finished up a little early, huh, Sean?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Oh man.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna tell you right now, it makes me completely uncomfortable. I don't want nothing to do with it. Like I'm confused. I don't know whether or not I'm supposed to like.
He's like, I don't know if I'm supposed to go hiking or am I supposed to go humping. What am I supposed to do?
I don't know anything. It's not right. Everything about it.
Climb up it, or climb in it.
Yeah, it's a special thing.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. I can't help myself, man. My bad.
Like I'm not sure if I have to like put like a. I'm not sure if I have to put the stream on like adult only now. Yeah, like what do I do? Like,
put an asterisk with the title. You'll be all right. Just use the just use that picture as the thumbnail.
You know, you have to watch the whole damn thing to get to this part. I'm not doing that. That's nope.
Yeah, motherfucker's gonna be fast forwarding.
put it on 0.05 time.
Yeah, this is the portion of the show when
oh my goodness. That's a damn shame.
Yeah. You can't take y'all nowhere. Damn.
Bad, I can't.
Yeah, it's funny though how crystals grow in the cave. You know what I mean? Like what? I wonder if that joint got some crystals in it. Somebody left
There's gonna be some situations going on. Stop that! What are you doing? Like I'm just looking for something. Looking.
Oh
shit, crystallized.
Yeah, it's gonna be. Yeah. Like you never did that before. Oh, I'm looking for something.
Oh damn! Like yo, man, don't mess with her. She got bats.
Brings out a new
Everybody been inside of that one.
Oh
Yeah,
shit!
it's not good. It's not good at all.
You could stand up in it.
Have a party up in that joint.
That's like I gotta find it now because when people listen to this and they don't know what we're talking, or see it and like, what the hell? Or, who are they talking about?
Oh, whoo, man, this is too much.
And see, I'm gonna go ahead and blame Legendary for this because
See what happens when I get on a panel, guys.
He jumped off quick. He always does that. You talk about it and he
trouble
disappears.
Yeah.
It wasn't even me this time. Thank God.
Like, man. I just remember the phrase like, man, you gotta check this out. And the way he says it, it's like it's real. He doesn't just say it. Like when I say rock porn, I'm being nice. He does it completely. Yeah, like you could only. He says, I can't even say what he says. It's just, I can't. It's much harder to find now because when he showed it to me, we were all in a bat chat. It wasn't even like we were streaming. So now I got to be careful because I don't want to get kicked off.
Oh boy.
Oh man.
I think it's all natural. You'd be all right.
Yeah, you tell that to YouTube and why they have like adult settings on here. I found it. Unfortunately, here we go.
Oh boy.
Man, Drake, someone needs to mute your mic. I don't need to know what's going on.
It ain't me.
Yeah, what is going on?
I don't care what you're doing. Just stop doing it with your mic on. Thank you. It's freaking crunching and moving. I can hear it. I got a good headset. I can hear everything, which means if I can hear it, everyone can hear it.
You ain't gonna hear no crunching, that's for sure.
Okay, I found it.
Oh boy.
All right, I think I found it. Oh yeah, I did find it. Okay, how do I do this? This is a disclaimer. Now, anybody with children watching the screen, they are about to see something bad.
You might want to change your settings. You
It's-
can change it to 18 and over, you know.
It's a geological formation. That's all it is.
Yeah, but some people, you know, might just be being themselves out here on YouTube, you know.
Get your head out of the sewer.
Dude, look at the pooty hole and everything. Look at the Yo, I never seen that one with the little poop shoot.
Oh my
The
God.
hell? Damn, man. Come on, Peter. Let me get a square.
I literally walked through that mug. What?
Yeah. So when you guys hear me say rock porn, you can thank Legendary for this.
Come to Colorado, get your rocks off.
Is that where? Is that where it is?
I don't know where. Nah, I think one is in Peru. I think the one is in Peru. The one on the right is in Peru. I don't know the other one. The other one.
The mountains were alive. Is that what it says? Oh my God.
Yeah. So if anybody needs to see this, it's age of disclosure. The mountains were alive.
Yo, how was it got a poop shoot? Look at the what? Yo, imagine,
we're done.
Imagine,
Yo,
you will not finish. You will not finish here.
All I'm saying is, imagine the queef to come up out that joint. Dang.
He said, "You will not finish here."
Oh,
The problem I have is that I always forget that
right, man.
The chat is it lags. So everything happens, it happens, and then the chat sees it again. So I switch over to the chat to see, like, say sorry and laugh, but when it pops up on my screen, I realize that they hadn't even seen it yet.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, because it's like a 30-second delay.
So I get there and I'm like, all right, we're done. And then all of a sudden, bam, it's there again. And I think I'm I'm pretty sure I am gonna have to change the settings.
Yeah, you might want to, just in case.
Oh man, yo, I swear I saw a dingleberry in that joint on the left.
Oh my God. Go take it off and get a souvenir.
Oh man, and I just want to say that for the record, time Q. I will not. I refuse. I did Google it, but we're not going there on my show. No, I'm not gonna look that one up. Or I looked it up, but I'm not sharing that. If you
said the vagina rock.
No, she wanted me to do the penis one, and I'm just not rolling like that.
See, that's right. Like, how come you don't see any of them around nowhere, just laying on the side of the road somewhere? Like,
no, there is.
Have you seen the new snake that they are claiming is a new species or whatever? It's like the penis snake. Look that up. I'm not lying there. I'm not even lying. Like, they're saying it's a new species or something. Shit looks crazy.
The one-eyed monster.
Look it up, Sean. The penis snake. Like, I'm not even joking though. That's what it's called.
Wow.
No, I'm gonna hit enter, and I'm gonna get something I definitely wasn't expecting.
Yo, man.
Maybe Fukushima made it. I don't know.
Oh, damn.
Is that what company is that?
I don't know. It's the nuclear waste thing.
Oh, she said Fukushima. Fukushima.
Yeah.
This has got to be. This can't be real.
Are you looking at a snake?
Yeah, I'm not showing that. That's got to be a Photoshop issue.
It's really not though. Look at, there's a bunch of them.
What the hell is y'all talking about?
some shit that ain't right. I can tell you that.
It is not right, but it is real.
That can't be real.
If one of them things rolled up next to me, I'd freak out.
She's like, I ain't taking that now. What the
Oh.
hell?
Well, let's get one thing straight. First of all, I can't imagine that being real. Second, if you do Google search what the penis snake thing, it ain't cool. I mean, just not even the animal we're talking about, just the other pictures around here. It's just something's wrong with people these days.
Listen, okay, let me just put a disclaimer. I did not look this up.
What I'm looking at right now is your fault. It's not going to be everyone's fault.
This was in a video. It was in a video of these new species that were coming about, like the one-eye cyclops fish thing they found and stuff like that.
Yeah, now I see how you got that in the search.
Is that what Sir Mix-a-Lot was talking about? The anaconda?
I don't think so, buddy.
Put it this way. Can you get to the back chat, Trey?
Yeah, I can.
I don't think you need
back
to.
chat.
Hang on. Yeah, you'd have to. Hang on. All right, this is wrong. Man. See, this is what happens when people go, "Hey, did you see this?" and they just go on a tangent searching for stuff. It's not. This is not cool. I will say. Better. Yeah, that's a good idea. So, that's a really good idea because my brain hurts right now. Where's Legendary? This is all his fault.
Yeah, it is.
It's all Time's fault. Blame her.
Yeah, there you go.
She wanted to see the penis.
If you go to the back chat, Dre, that's what they were talking about, and the one you see is the nicest version of what I'm talking about. That is by far that is the nicest version of what you could see if you Google search that at all. That was the most. Everything else was wrong.
That's got.
And I'm telling you, everyone in the chat, don't be.
Y'all killing me.
I'm telling you, it's not cool.
The hell.
Y'all were all right in that other thing. Now. Oh God.
I wonder if he eats cats.
Y'all hurt my stomach.
Yeah, that's wrong. That's just wrong.
Yeah.
That's just.
Hey, you know what? I think that's a good closer because I can't. My brain hurts. I may have to edit this. Wow, it's been well over 2 hours.
I'm about to go to bed anyway. Dang, that's just wrong on so many levels.
Like, where did that thing come from? Like, real legit talk. Like, where did that thing come from? Why is it on the earth?
Wait.
How did it become a thing? First of all, like
Jason, the snake.
Yeah, I'm being serious. Like, well, I'm not even being a smart ass right now.
I don't know if we could have a legitimate talk about that.
I mean,
it was probably some.
You have to get some adults together. We couldn't do that.
Yeah, some actual adults.
That's probably some freak nasty science lady that couldn't get none. She's like, I'm gonna make me some.
Oh God.
I'm telling you, that is what these people aren't stupid. Like the Asian disclosure guy, he's not dumb, but I'm pretty sure he's been backpacking and searching for these rock things for a long time. A very long time. And in that time, he hasn't had any, so you start to see some shit, and he just walked up on some that looks, bam, like that.
But you can form anything with rock. You gotta kind of think, too, maybe somebody did that.
No, but what happens is it probably is natural, and then he's been on this search for it. So I don't know.
Who goes on a search for vagina rock?
He sniffed out the truth.
It's just, I don't even know what to say. I don't know. I just don't know.
Oh, this is nuts, man. Come on, bro. Stop.
I'm telling you.
It sounds like some 12-year-old kids are having this stream right now. Come on.
That's why now I have to change it. Now I feel guilty. I gotta go smoke a cigarette.
Sean.
It's me.
Don't smoke cigarettes. That's horrible.
Yeah, because what just happened isn't horrible.
Sean's a rebel.
Way to rebel.
People are scarred again once.
At least you're not spinning, buddy.
Man, half these people, boy, man.
And the problem is I
nothing.
thought I was worried about the people in the chat, and then I just realized that the people in the chat are now giving out different ideas and links to go to.
Yeah.
See? That's how it goes.
It's like all of a sudden I got twice as many people in the chat watching the stream since we started talking about it.
that's pretty
That's
bad.
fucked up. Don't I want to hear about flat Earth or something?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
So artifact pawn.
that Earth sure wasn't flat.
Show rock porn every time I get on, so I can get more people there.
Now hey Sean, now your recommended views, like your recommended videos, are gonna be all screwed up.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I gotta make sure that the little thumbnail. I gotta make sure it's not that fucking rock shit.
Yeah, man, we gotta use that.
That would be awesome.
Someone in the chat, I need you to back out, and I need you to type, go search my channel.
Hold on, I'll check
See what
for you.
the live stream thing is. There's a live
Okay.
stream symbol, may be it.
Hold on. No, it's your background with
Okay, cool.
with the picture with the sun.
All right, that's good. Yeah, see, that's YouTube going. Oh no, we can't do that.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got to go to bed. Need to get me some sleep.
It is starting to get late, and my son is actually sitting up watching videos on his phone, and I realized it is actually pretty damn late. He should have been asleep a long time ago.
Yeah, it's 12:14, and he even got an extra hour today. Last night I was like, oh, it's 1 o'clock again.
Damn. Oh, no. See, you just me even more because we have a different time. So you said 12, and I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah, it's 12:15 where I'm at. So
Yeah, me too.
Well, yeah, definitely, Sean. Appreciate it, brother. Can't wait till next time. And I spy. Take care. It's nice talking to you. We had some fun. Yeah. Flat Trotter and Uber Flat. I think Uber dropped out. Did he? Or no, he's still here.
No, I'm still here, man.
Yeah, they just been quiet.
Josh is always there.
You know what up?
Y'all enjoy the rest of your evening or morning, whatever you call it, wherever you're at. And I'll catch y'all.
Dang, it's 9:14 where Under the Ether is.
Peace out to everybody in the chat.
All right. Peace.
Take care. Peace.
Gator.
Yeah, thank you, Dre, for stopping by, man. Again, I'm gonna say it. We talked about it, but you need to get your own damn stream, and
yeah, he does.
For it. Yeah, it's crazy. He does it.
Where else?
What else? I Spy, you got anything you want to promote? Any shows you're gonna be doing soon?
No, but I just want to say that, which I heard you say that last night on your stream about Dre. Not just Dre, but like especially you females, man. Open up a channel. Start doing hangouts. Like the more people we got talking about this, the better.
Yeah, that's definitely not enough. There's a lot of women that I know that I talk to in the chat and stuff that definitely need streams or at least get on panels.
Yep.
There's so many girls out here. They're just in the chat. It's like I hate it. Like I used to get a lot of girls up on my panel when I was doing shows, and it was awesome. Like I wanted to do an all-girl show, but so many times it's like I keep thinking there's so many, but there's really not compared to the guys, dude. There's not that many of us. So I think the ones that we have, y'all need to start standing up here. Get up here and talk. Open up a panel on your channel, dude. Like, because the more women talk about it, the more women who aren't talking about it will feel comfortable talking about it, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
You're right, Candy. You're spot on.
Exactly. Hey, what's up, Mike?
What up, Josh? You've been quiet all night, huh?
Oh, dude, I've just been listening, man.
You driving? You working?
Yeah. Well, right now I'm just chilling in the parking lot of LAX, like
word.
beating my head against the wall.
Word.
LAX, that'd be a cool place to hang out.
No, it is not.
Watching
That's-
them giant glow
that-
sticks.
You see all kinds of people
area-
there.
Yeah, that area ain't the best area to be hanging out.
Yeah. I've been sitting here for like an hour waiting for a trip, and then I figured out what's going on. Cause
Right on, brother.
hey,
I posted that picture of the snake in the back chat, and Jay Alex hasn't been, Jax hasn't been on the panel, so he pops into the back chat, and he wants to know what the hell's going on in here.
I'm telling him it's all Sean's fault.
What
He
the
just
hell
been,
y'all put in the back chat? What was that?
there
Yeah,
it
see?
is. Hey.
What are y'all on here talking about?
Hey, I'll just say you need to go back and listen to the past 45 minutes of the show. You'll
No,
understand.
I seen the picture. It pretty much summed up what y'all was talking about. You got, hold on, who on the panel? Let me see. Who is that? Okay, we got Flat Trotter. We got, we got Spot. Okay, y'all having y'all, FE origin. I'm gonna get up out of
Yeah,
here.
that's what it is. It's we were talking about legendary's rock porn.
Yep, I'm getting up out of here. Good night. I had enough. I haven't even been here, and I still had enough. Good night.
Yeah, we're about to end it anyway. We're done.
That's enough station for me.
Yeah.
It was funny.
Where is it? Does anybody in the nobody does music in here? Anybody? I know, like I did a chords. If anybody has any music or anything they want to promote, I don't know if you want to promote it after this stream, but I'll play it.
Synthetic
Doesn't matter to
Dread
me.
got some music. He dropped the link a while ago. Well, now
Oh,
he's
did he?
musician for Truth. Yeah.
If he, I'm trying to find it on the chat. If he wants me to play anything, I don't mind at all. And then I did a chord stuff, Flat Earth Chord, or now I'm sorry, Flat Earth Chord music.
Yeah, he changed his name. I still call him Flat Earth. Even though I'm looking at his name, I still say Flat Earth Accord.
Where is it?
Let me see if well,
it was a while ago, huh?
Wait, it's in my history because I clicked on it. Hold on, I'll drop it.
Yeah, because we'll go ahead and play that and close out with that.
Here it is.
Okay.
What? I'm still mad.
Say again.
Yeah.
Like, why was that? Why is that a thing? Why was that appropriate to put in the back chat?
Because it wasn't appropriate to show on the stream.
Yeah, you had to have been
I'm
here.
mad that you joined up with this foolishness with Sean. I expected more out of you.
Trust me, I had nothing that's in that back chat right now.
Hey, whatever crazy beef over, just leave them over. I might need it. Like, I think I want to ask a lot, but I don't know what to ask, but I know what to ask.
Wait, what'd you say?
I had to take a time out and like think for a second after that.
Oh, is that what that was? Where you had to leave and then come back?
Yeah, I wasn't gonna come back, but I thought to myself like I have to speak with these people and see what went wrong.
Nothing went wrong. It was actually a great show.
It started with Titans.
Are you still live?
Yeah. Yeah, still
okay. Since you're still alive, I want to say a couple things. First thing I want to say is Sean Nadachi.
Yeah, I knew he was gonna do that. you can't.
Midget.
You shouldn't even be here. Midget. Yeah, exactly. See, exactly. So we're gonna go ahead and play some music, and then end with that. So, it's still here. Thank you for showing up. End of the show was good for you. Jay, thanks for stopping by. I think right at the very end. I think he's been here. I just think I think he's been here. I just don't think he wanted to make himself known yet.
Yeah, he knows.
And yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and play this, and then you can wait, can't you?
Bye, y'all.
Okay. Yeah. So we're gonna play this, and we're gonna end out with that. Thank you guys for showing up, and let me get this started real quick. Yeah, Flat Trotter, thank you for showing up. Uber, same as you.
All right, brother. Thanks
Thanks
for
a lot
having
for
me.
having me, Sean.
Yep.
Yep.
I'll see you around. Have a good night.
Yeah.
Later, Josh.
You too, man.
Peace out, brothers.
Later, guys.
Yep.
I gotta switch off. And this is a curve, hard to find. Like, you know, be a musician. I don't want to say the wrong name. Oh, there it is. Musicians for Truth. Okay, that's what it is. I guess it used to be synthetic good.
I'm back one more time. Wait, everybody left?
Why you say it like that, though?
Hello? This has to be the hot one. Hot? Need the mango. What are you playing?
Keep it a buck. Follow it. This ain't no black news and no Jabari this.
You still there?
Yeah.
All right. I think I'm gonna go ahead and play this one as well, people.
Play what? More story music?
Cool. Huh?
What? More
No,
story?
man, it's on YouTube. This is Bro Sanchez stuff.
You stole some music?
Hang on.
Real scholarship that'll sink your partnerships. Haters popping shit cause I'm on top of shit. First time I partnered it, this time it's obvious. It's me against the mafia on my Illuminati shit. Never had a never starter kit. Breastplate and sword, killing them on some Harlem shit. This is godliness. I put my heart in this authorship. House of consciousness, old mortgages. Now I'm sonning no heads. This is my orphanage. He gave you red and blue pills. Meet Morpheus. We victorious. Show us respect. Got my name in your mouth. Hope you choke on the S. Hope you know I'm the best. Fucking I'm killing your doubts. Killing your minions. Trying to make their career off the couch. Old shotters compared to globe trotters. And them balls proving truth with no problem. Approach cautious. Trust me. Flow scorching, no condom, y'all ain't fucking with it. Trust me, niggas above the limits. Flow scorching, no condom, y'all ain't fucking with it. In the window, gun in my hand, no sleep, protecting the children. Bitch, I'm on my Malcolm. Move, cause you the police.
Huh?
Got all of them backwards. I told y'all niggas stop playing. Now I got a body out some face. Reggie got new shoes, now we think he can fuck with me. Boy, this shit in my heart, not on my fucking feet. Enjoy your luxuries, I do it for the hard living. Y'all the type to hit stop streaming and start kissing. Niggas need to stop dreaming and start living. Stop waiting on motherships and stop wishing. Stop defending belief systems and fuck feelings. Corrupt niggas and misinformed enough children. So fuck your legacy is built upon heresy. Dresses what rappers got in common with comedic priests. Frat boys should call up comedic Greeks. Stick to lectures and step shows, don't step to me. Fake pro-black niggas caught with Stephanie. Niggas on iPhones and teach telepathy. The short mind, they can't expect long. Your ass like you're part of the recipe. The short mind, they can't expect longevity. Testing me, cook your ass like you're part of the recipe. In the window, gun in my hand, no sleep, protecting the children. Bitch, I'm on my Malcolm shit. Movement will move, cause you the police. Got the people stagnant, cause y'all on some backwards shit. Standing in the window, gun in my hand, no sleep, protecting the children. Bitch, I'm on my Malcolm shit.
See you guys tomorrow.